my name is Pia and I am a dancer, a filmmaker and a choreographer, and my film Like a Less Dense Brick was presented at Cinedanza Festival in 2019. Like a Less Dense Brick was born from a mashup of many of my creative interests. I really enjoy curating a world within the camera frame, and for this reason the colour palette and the locations of the film are very important to me. Once I have decided on these things, I find it a lot easier to define the identity of the film in my mind, even if things change later on. I did know early on that I wanted to use a sweet potato in the film, and this obviously affected the colour palette. Like a Less Dense Brick also follows as a progression from my last two Screendance works, Banana Blue and Pink Ink. Both of those films work with two dancers, clear colour combinations and flat walls captured with a locked off camera. After making those films, I wanted to push a little bit further, especially with scale and the complexity of the choreography. The two dancers in Like a Less Dense Brick are Emma Riches and Joe Lloyd, both dancers who I admire greatly for their technical and creative skill. The cameraman is my father, James Lauritz. The composer is my brother, Pia Lauritz, and the voice that you can hear in the film is my sister, Isadora Lauritz. We developed the movement material over a handful of rehearsals, then we had 2 film days, and it took me about 2 months of gradual editing, which also included the composing of the music by Miro, to get it to where it is now. Overall, the process was fairly smooth, so I don't think I could pinpoint one moment that was the most difficult, but I do always find scheduling and rescheduling quite difficult, especially when everyone is quite busy and you have to deal with the weather. So once everything was planned, it went quite well, and I do think we're very lucky with the weather and we didn't have any problems really. So I came to Screendance through a university subject at the Victorian College of the Arts, during which I created my first film, Banana Blue. I do see myself as a dancer first, and I'm still negotiating the labels that I choose to describe what I do. My father is a professional photographer, so I did grow up with him being excited by the light and framing the perfect photo, and that really influenced my interest in making dance films. It is only because of his experience and his skill and his equipment that I have been able to make the films I have, so I'm very grateful to him for all of that. I'm not working on any new projects right now, but I have made one film since Like a Less Dense Brick. It's called Softer Terracotta, and I made it with myself as a dancer in it this time, alongside Emma Riches and another wonderful dancer, Claire Lesky. It was filmed in November 2019, and hopefully you'll get to see it when it's publicly available for viewing. I'm very interested in exploring the relationship between seeing and being seen. So much of the improvised movement in Like a Less Dense Brick is actually stimulated by the physical movements our eyes make when scanning an environment. I am particularly interested in attempting to dismantle the male gaze when I'm making films. I think this is something that is still quite easy to lean into as a female identifying filmmaker, because it is so embedded in the way that we make and watch films. I think both Emma and Claire can have a very strong and sincere performance presence, which I think had quite a powerful effect for moments during Like a Less Dense Brick. As mentioned earlier, the sweet potato was something that I knew I wanted quite early on within the process of making Like a Less Dense Brick. There isn't one explanation to why I felt so certain about this, but I do really appreciate the texture and the colour of the sweet potato, and I guess it was something to hold on to at the very start of a process, to know that I wanted that. I also really like the idea that it could be transformed if it had been cooked by being squeezed. The artichoke was a counterpart to the sweet potato, so it really came second in my ideas, but I do think it ties in the colours, in the pavement and the costumes quite a lot. Symbolically, I think that both vegetables bring a somewhat domestic tone to the aesthetic of the film, and I like the idea that this could be read as a subtle comment on roles that females take stereotypically. They are also both innately harmless objects being held as weapons, and I really like this. I do love displacement or misplacement of objects within my films. Putting things where they wouldn't normally belong, the cooking ingredient in combat, the indoors, outdoors, the private in public. It is something I'm definitely interested in exploring further in my next films.